All right, let's dive into something pretty interesting today.
Okay.
The UK's Office for Budget Responsibility.
The OBR.
Yeah, the OBR.
Right.
And when I first heard about this,
Okay.
I have to admit, I thought government finance watchdog sounds a little dry, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
But then the more I dug into it,
Right.
the more I thought,
Yeah,
this is actually really important to the
Okay.
UK's economy.
it is. Yeah.
So to help us understand all this, we have a true expert with us today.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
So maybe we can start with the basics.
Oh, here.
What is the OBR and what does it do?
Well, it's an independent body set up in 2010 to provide unbiased and transparent analysis of the UK's public finances.
So they're kind of like a
Yeah,
financial watchdog.
exactly. A watchdog, a reality check.
Okay, but independent body.
Right.
What does that actually mean?
Well, it means that while the OBR is funded by the Treasury,
Okay.
it operates completely independently of the government,
So they're not
influenced by politics.
No, they're free to challenge the government's narrative.
So real accountability.
Absolutely.
So are they just crunching numbers?
Well, they do crunch numbers,
Yeah.
but it's more than that.
Okay.
They actually have 4 key duties.
All right, let's hear about those.
Well, the first one is they're economic forecasters.
Okay.
So twice a year, they produce these detailed 5-year forecasts
Wow, 5 years.
for the economy and public finances.
So trying to predict the future.
It's like predicting the weather, but for the economy.
That sounds pretty hard.
It can be, yeah.
I bet.
But these forecasts are important because
Yeah.
they inform the Chancellor's budget statement
Oh, okay.
and the spring statement.
So that everyone knows
Yeah.
where the UK's finances are headed.
Exactly.
So what's the second duty then?
The second one is evaluation.
Okay.
So the Chancellor makes all these promises, right?
About the economy?
Yeah. About reducing the deficit or national debt.
The OBR holds the government accountable for these promises.
So making sure that they're actually following through.
Exactly. They assess if the government's actions align with their targets.
Like a personal finance tracker?
Yes, but for the whole country.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So third duty.
This one is scrutiny.
Okay.
The OBR really examines the Treasury's costings
For what?
for any tax or welfare measures.
I see.
They want to make sure that the numbers add up.
So
Yeah.
no funny business.
Exactly. No hidden costs or creative accounting.
So they're like financial detectives.
In a way, yes.
That's amazing.
It's a vital role.
Okay, so what's the fourth one?
The fourth one is all about sustainability
Of what?
of public finances.
What does that mean?
Are the government's policies setting the UK up for a secure financial future?
That's a big question.
It is.
So they're thinking long term.
Yes, very long term.
Oh.
They analyze spending, revenue, and debt to see if we're on the right track. It's about making sure future generations aren't burdened with debt.
That's really important.
It is, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So like being a responsible parent.
Exactly. Making sure the family doesn't overspend.
I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good analogy.
Thanks.
So speaking of overspending,
Uh-oh.
the 2022 mini budget,
Right.
what happened there?
Well, that was a prime example of what happens when you ignore the OBR.
What do you mean?
The Truss government decided to bypass the OBR's scrutiny
To do what?
to implement tax cuts.
And that didn't go well.
Not at all. It backfired.
How so?
Well, markets panicked, the pound plummeted. It was
Yeah.
a mess.
So the OBR is really important
They are.
for keeping the UK economy stable.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is fascinating.
It is.
I had no idea.
There's a lot to it.
So it's not just about Westminster, is it?
No, it's not.
They're also involved in
Right.
Scotland and Wales.
Yes, the OBR forecasts tax revenues for devolved taxes in those nations.
So like income tax.
Yes. Income tax, stamp duty,
Okay.
landfill tax, things like that.
So that those governments
The exact
can
stuff.
plan their budgets.
Right.
So they have to follow the OBR's advice.
Well, they don't have to,
Oh.
but there have been times when they haven't.
And what happened?
Well, sometimes it leads to budget shortfalls,
Ice.
which require corrective measures.
So it's like having a roadmap,
Yes.
but you don't have to follow it.
Right, you can choose your own route.
That makes sense.
Good.
So with all this talk about
Mhm.
forecasts and scrutiny,
Yeah,
has the OBR actually made a difference?
I think so.
What do you mean?
They've actually received international recognition.
Really?
Yeah, from the International Monetary Fund
Wow.
and the European Fiscal Board.
They're impressed with the OBR.
They are.
So what are they saying?
They're praising the OBR's commitment to transparency
Yeah.
and independence.
So
Yeah,
The UK's doing something right.
I think so.
Wow.
It's quite a model.
So
Yeah.
other countries are looking at this
They are. They want to enhance their own systems.
to be more like the OBR.
Exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a good sign.
So the OBR is actually
Yeah.
like a global role model.
You could say that.
Wow. So we've gone from a basic understanding of the OBR
Right.
to now talking about
Yeah.
it being this global force for good.
That's impressive.
Before we wrap up,
Sure.
is there anything about the OBR
Okay.
that we haven't talked about?
Well, one thing that's often overlooked
Yeah.
is their commitment to public education.
What do you mean?
They really try to make their analysis accessible
To who?
to everyone, not just economists.
Really?
Yeah, they have a great website.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
It's very user-friendly.
it is.
It's got a ton of information,
It does.
but it's easy to understand.
Right. They even have videos.
Really?
Yeah, explainer videos. So they're really invested in transparency
Not great.
and public engagement.
That's so important
It is.
to make sure that people
Yeah.
understand this stuff.
Absolutely.
So they even have stuff for schools.
Right, they do. Resources for teachers.
Wow. So they're trying to
Yeah.
educate young people?
Yes, to help them understand economics.
That's fantastic.
It is. It's the future.
We need informed citizens
Absolutely.
who can understand
Yeah,
these complex issues.
we do.
This has been really eye-opening. I've learned a lot,
I'm glad.
and I'm starting to see how the OBR could really be
Yeah,
a model for other countries.
it could be.
Okay, well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Right.
If you're interested in learning more,
Yeah.
check out the OBR's website.
It's a great resource.
You can find all their reports, their data.
And it's all easy to understand.
Even if you're not an
problem.
economist. Exactly.
So I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by how interesting this stuff can be.
It can be.
Until next time.